Hello.
Dude. Right here. Okay. Join the club.
So we still haven't finished our recap of the parks experiences and products presentation. We're going to come back to that soon, but when when two special guests walk into the booth, you have to stop and say hello. No, I'm not talking about Becky Megan. And you know what? They're two guests that don't need an introduction. I'm going to let them introduce. They don't. Because, pay attention. One of my favorite series on Netflix is I Know That Voice. Take a listen and see if you can identify who's in the booth now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are on WDW Radio, right here in Walt Disney's very favorite Anaheim Convention Center. Welcome.
We wish you a magical day.
I feel like I'm in the parks. How cool is that? Welcome our special guest.
Awesome. Thank you.
Wow. This is. Have you had as much fun as we have this weekend?
You know what? It's my fun level has been turned up to 11.
I get it.
There's a lot happening. And so you're having fun, which I'm happy to hear about because I know this is work for you too.
It is.
I've heard your voice a lot this weekend.
Yes, more than you would in the park, I think.
Usually it's while I'm trying to broadcast, and I'll hear in 5 minutes.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, we really do have a lot of fun. I mean, this is it's a great time for us. As work goes, we cleaned toilets and dug ditches, back in the dark days. So this is pretty awesome.
It's what we call speaking aloud for fun and profit.
So you said you're having fun. What has been the most enjoyable part of Expo for you so far? Other than being right here, right now, obviously.
I was going to say this tops the list, but let's see if we can work down from there.
Well, I know what your favorite event is, and we have one coming up today at 5:15. Tell them what you do every day.
The last 2 days and today, I will record about 100 voicemails for people. It's become a sanctioned event, and believe me, it's going to get me in the Hoosgow one of these days because I do from time to time get a bit, how do we say this, un-Disney? Some of these people come up to me and go, we really want something bizarre. And I'm okay, fine, how bizarre do you want to get? Well, I really hate it when people call me on the phone. Oh, guess what? You called what's-her-name's phone. There is no way she's going to talk to you because she's either working too hard or she's playing with her children. And to listen to your stupid message takes more time than she wants to spend. So text the woman.
Awesome.
But you probably enjoy it because you've been reading scripts for so long. You can be a little creative and have some fun.
Yes. Oh, I was standing next to him and I said, "You are not going to leave that one, right?" And he said, "No, I love it. Keep it. It's exactly what I wanted."
Every once in a while you get one like that. Most of the time it's John Q. Public. He wants to talk about his business, right? No, sir. I will say your name. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for calling Joe Jones's phone. Mr. Jones is currently at Disneyland. He's not going to talk to you until he finishes writing whatever it is he's on currently. So please leave a message. He'll call you back. That business-like enough for you?
So I think the question you probably get asked, other than can you please record my voicemail, most is, how does one become the voice of the Disney parks? I mean, I don't think Disney sort of puts an ad in the local newspaper.
No, they don't. And in my particular case, I didn't even know there was an audition process. I mean, I was asked to come to a specific place by a friend who knew that they were looking for a new voice because my predecessor, Jack Wagner, was retiring. And so I had no idea. I went over to take a look at some of the fancy new equipment that this guy was showing off, all digital stuff. It was very cool. This was back in the early 90s. And I said, okay, that's lovely. He goes, I understand you know Jack Wagner. I said, I have never met the man, but he is my hero. Well, we'd like you to read this, and he hands me the lights out speech for the electrical parade. And he says, yeah, go on in there and do that. We did 2 takes. He says, come on out. He says, I don't make the final decision. I want you to know that, but by Thursday, you will know you're the new voice of Disneyland. Jack is retiring.
Wow.
And those are big shoes to fill, or a big voice to fill.
If you'll allow me to stand for just a moment, Mr. Wagner left a bar that needs to be reached that is about a foot higher than I can go.
I think that you sell yourself short because
No, I'm fairly tall. I'm 6 foot. There's no way I'm going to reach that bar. Thank you. I appreciate your kind
So as an old
compliment.
school, Walt Disney World, Disneyland fan, I knew Jack's voice, but you're the whole voice of a new generation. Like literally millions of people hear your voice all the time.
Thank you, Lou. That's very nice of you to say, and I do appreciate the abilities that I was given so that I can carry on this wonderful tradition, because Jack really did set the bar so high. And all I'm trying to do is just make sure that I can carry on and make sure that the people who are at the parks have as much fun as they possibly can, because we got time to tell the band mom story?
I don't know what it is.
All right, this is very cool. The person I think about, Cammie and I do a lot of what we call guest talent announces, which are those announces when you're in the parks and you're with your child who is going to sing or play an instrument or tap dance. We announce those people first. And the one person I think about is the band mom. She's the one that's got the I'm with the band sweatshirt on. She has been hauling around sousaphones, you name it, for most of the day. She is exhausted. It is now 3:45 in the afternoon. She's sitting on the curb on Main Street, USA, going, My job is to make sure that when I say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your kid marching down Main Street, USA. I see her stand up straight as an arrow. She's got this shot going all of a sudden, and I'm thinking to myself, I have made this woman's day, and that's what my job was. That's simple.
And so what about you? How do you get to, so first of all, are you sitting in school one day going, man, I suck at algebra. I'm going to be a voiceover. I think I'm going to be a voice artist.
I never thought about voiceover as a job. I wanted to be a singer. Turns out I wasn't a very good singer. I even started my first year of college as a vocal major. But the campus radio station that had a classical music station wanted a music major who knew the music to write and host a children's program. So I was in radio for about 10 years. But then when I left radio to do voiceover, I realized my favorite thing in school, other than singing, was reading out loud. I would never go to the blackboard if they wanted me to, if there was a math problem. But, when the teacher would say, who wants to read this, read this out loud, I was always the first one. So I've always mentioned that when I speak at Career Day, and tell kids, pay attention to what it is you love to do and that you feel you're really good at. Even if it isn't something that you will make a living at, it's something that should have a very large place in your life.
So how do you get from there to here and here?
So Bill and I were dating when
Are there like voiceover artists, like dating services like voicedate.com, voicematch.com?
No, but I think some budding entrepreneurs should put that together. So yeah, Bill and I were dating when they were doing food and wine festivals at Disney California Adventure, and they decided one year they wanted to have some female announcements to go along with Bill's, and somebody said, doesn't Bill's girlfriend do voiceover? So they brought me in, and I'm in the studio. They hand me the script, and I see that iconic ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And I thought, oh, I can't just do an impression of Bill. I've got to do it different because I'll sound like I'm just trying to be Bill. So I read it some different way, and they were like, no. We have a style, we have a cadence, we have a thing that we do. Can you do it like
Be
Bill?
more Bill.
They
Be
did.
more
They said, can you do it like Bill does? Oh, good, yes. And then I had permission to do it. So, and then a few years later, when we opened up Buena Vista Street in Cars Land, Bill was expecting to be the announcer for the live press events. A couple weeks ahead of time, we got a phone call from someone at the company who said, what's your wife doing that day? So I like to tease him that in that's awesome.
I had it on my calendar. Everything was going to be just fine.
Yeah, so in the course of about 2 weeks, I re-recorded the entire catalog of about 200 announcements. And then I got to do the live opening of Cars Land, and the next day the live opening of Buena Vista Street. So it was really, really cool. And actually, I teased him because in one phone call he was not only replaced, but now he's my assistant.
Wait a minute,
ouch.
they don't want me, they want you.
But he
Cammy's
has
for you.
been
Yeah.
he has been my champion and just a great mentor. We were introduced almost 20 years ago by a client who booked me at Bill's studio. So we've been working together for a long time.
It's funny, when I first found out that the two of you were together, all I sort of imagined was you guys sitting at the breakfast table, pass me the coffee, please. Like, and that's just the way you talk to each other all the time.
Well, yes, we do. Actually.
Yeah.
Can you do a little of that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
So,
Lou,
for instance,
sit back and relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, due to unforeseen circumstances, tonight's presentation of dinner has been delayed. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and hope to begin soon. Again, tonight's presentation
I
of
heard you the
dinner.
first time, never mind. Yeah, thank you.
And later on that evening,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our evening will be a part of the family, a part of the Disney family as we watch Modern Family. Yes. The lights will be dimmed in our living room so we can fully enjoy that performance. Please remain in the same area until the lights return to normal. Thank you.
following the presentation, the kitchen will remain open for an additional hour for your convenience. It's a great way to clearly communicate information. It's what makes our marriage.
It is. Yeah.
I'm imagining
You
what
guys-
the fights must sound
I was
like.
gonna say-
The fights probably sound very, very different.
I think you guys should do couples counseling. I think that would be fabulous. Couples counseling communication with Bill and Camille.
That's the one. All right, we found a new one. After the Disney thing goes
In
away,
case the
and more
voiceover
does,
thing
it always
doesn't work
does. Yeah, I
out.
know.
Okay,
It's like,
thank
hey,
you.
We're there.
We'll give you a cut, Becky.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
I'll make this happen.
So I know you guys are fans as well. What has been the most exciting, surprising, entertaining part of Expo for you?
It's coming up in just a few minutes, and that is all of the guys who do the voiceovers for the major characters. Bill Farmer, Brent Iwan, Tony Anselmo are all going to be on stage, and they are going to be talking about what happens behind all of the goings on at Mickey's place. So that's going to be amazing.
I think we weren't able to attend the Legends ceremony because we were working at center stage, but I got the honor of narrating all of the videos, and that was really cool over the course of 3 weeks to work on all of that and just kind of think of the excitement of what it was going to be like when the audience gets to see, because they do such a beautiful job putting all that stuff together, and really deserving people this year, so that was awesome.
Yeah, quite frankly, one of them who got it was a former boss of mine, and that is Barnett Ritchie, who was responsible with Bruce Healy in creating Fantasmic. And the most amazing woman to work for, because nothing was ever off the table until 3 minutes before showtime. And then everything was open. We had so much fun working with her.
Well, one thing I love about you being here and coming to this, not just the booth, but being here, is for us hearing that voice that's so familiar, that's so comforting. That there's something reassuring about hearing, not that Disneyland is closing for the day. Nobody likes to hear that, but some of those ones that are so familiar, and then being able to put a face and a personality to that voice is so wonderful for us as guests.
Well, we're certainly
thank
glad
you.
they write these things for us. You know, just like.
But there's something so soothing about your voices. And when you're politely telling us that the park is now closed,
Yeah,
it's a
that's
nice way to hear, get out.
Get
I
out.
mean, it's
Oh,
such a
where
nice-
are my manners?
Yeah.
Please get out.
Yes.
Bill has gotten phone calls from people who are very disappointed that he canceled the fireworks and ruined their anniversary or birthday or whatever it was. So that's always fun
It is.
because
What I get
they
for
think of
publishing
him as
my
a
phone
friend.
number. Oh boy.
Yeah,
What
well,
are you gonna
they
do?
think of him as a friend, and we love that guests feel like they know us and that we are their friends.
Yeah.
But then they feel like their friend Bill just let them down.
Oh, there it goes.
Bill's fault. Bill's fault the fireworks got canceled.
That's exactly it. Lou, this has been just a wonderful time.
Thank you for making
Thank
time
you
out
for
here.
having
to
us.
take
Thank
some.
you.
I really appreciate
Thank you for
guys.
having us.
Give it up for
Thank
the
you.
voices of Disneyland and Disney California Adventure.
Wednesday. Another quest. How well? Stupid Star Wars land. East Coast. Yeah, how's that going?
You're welcome. Oh, where's my...
All right. Everybody, you Goldilocks. How you doing? Good. Good.
Yes. My do have.
See you again. Good to see you.
You want the news from my voicemail for my business?
Thank you. You did it. Oh, yeah. And do the video. Mind if I do the video message later? Oh, that's so cool. See you guys later. See you later.
Thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. I mean, thank you guys again for visiting the WW Radio Mouse Fan Travel booth. I'm doing my best voiceover. You're not even paying attention. It must not be. It must not be that very good.
I think.
Who's Kara?
What was that? Oh.
One there, but the other one. Is it? I think it's DJ.
Yeah, new pin. And hat. This. Oh, that's cool.
Is there anything you
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, very cool. It's a box lunch.
There is, but I want to go back there.
What, the snacks?
Yeah.
They ship in this one, and if they're not, they're in that one? Oh, yeah, they're in the one that you're sitting on.
One out here.
I believe so. No. I just
Found them.
Hello, man. How are you? Here, let's slide them over. Slide this. Still, thank you again for what you did.
It significantly went down since yesterday. Those things are my addiction.
I've got an omega bar in my bag.
So, we are back once again with yet another special guest. Can I call you a friend at this point? Are we at that moment? All right, is your mic on? Oh,
Hello.
There you go.
There we go.
you may remember my next guest from such shows as show number whatever with Brian Crosby.
If you don't know exactly which number,
I don't know the number. Nicholas,
and the
what show?
crowd goes wild.
Woo!
Both of the crowd goes wild.
So
All right, cool.
Brian joined us for the show when we were on the Marvel Day at Sea Cruise.
Yeah.
Back in February, somewhere around there.
It was, yeah. January, February, something like that, yeah.
Not to go off on a tangent, but I'm going to go off on a tangent. Doesn't matter. As much as
Do
I
it.
love like Alaska and some of the destinations, that was the most fun cruise I have ever been on. Like, we've been dying to do that again.
It was great. We had a ton of fun too. It's, I was just saying this morning, the Disney Cruise Line is seriously a ton of fun, and that's not just me talking company man. Like, it's genuinely a blast, and add a little Marvel to it makes it even better, in my humble opinion.
We had an amazing time. My son and I were talking about how much we just love bringing Marvel into as kids. All you want to do is experience the thing that you're seeing on TV or reading in a comic book.
Yeah.
That was sort of the first step, right? Being able to experience it at sea. And now, we've gotten a little bit of that with Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout in Disney California Adventure, but the game has changed in the Disney parks thanks to everything that's coming to the Avengers camp. Well, first of all, tell people who you are, who are you, and what do you do?
What are you
and what do you do?
Why are you even
Why are you here?
I just showed up, and you gave me a microphone.
You had a Marvel sweatshirt on. Like, he must know what he's talking about. Have a
He
seat.
must know, like no one else. No, my name is Brian Crosby. I'm the creative director of Marvel Themed Entertainment. And so what I do is I partner with amazing people at Walt Disney Imagineering and Marvel Studios and our team, and we help bring the superheroes to life at the Disney theme parks and on the cruise lines, and we do museum exhibits and arena shows and character appearances and all kinds of fun Marvel stuff.
So to make it a little bit more succinct, he's my favorite person in the whole wide world because you bring the things that I love so much to life. Look, we talked about the Marvel exhibit at when it was at Mopop, which is now in Philadelphia.
That's right. Yeah.
I've got to make a trip up there because that was one of my favorite things ever.
That really is a love letter to 80 years of Marvel Comics history, and not just Marvel Comics, Marvel Studios, animation, games, and now we get to add theme parks to the list, which is a ton of fun. But you're right, Mission Breakout was a blast to work on. Working with Joe Rohde on that project was he's just brilliant, as you know. But don't forget about the Iron Man experience in Hong Kong Disneyland and Ant-Man and the Wasp Nano Battle. In fact, we were there in February to open that attraction. So that was our second step in the Stark Expo storyline that we're doing in Hong Kong. But just an hour ago, a few hours ago, we added a new chapter.
Brain is still exploding.
Yeah,
he's still squeeing. Yes.
We had been talking beforehand, and I said, we should get together at the booth. He's like, you might want me to come Sunday afternoon. Maybe we shouldn't talk before then. You're definitely worth waiting for because of everything that we saw. And it was one thing to walk into the Parks Pavilion and see a little bit of the Avengers campus, but to hear it all in terms of what it's going to be. Tell us what the idea in terms of story, because obviously everything is predicated on story, what Avengers campus is and what some of those pieces are in the puzzle that you started to put in place today.
Yeah, to be honest, it's still a little weird to even say Avengers Campus out loud for me. I'm trying to get used to people knowing that term. But yeah, it's really, much like we've talked about in the past, what we're doing in the parks is flipping the paradigm of how we tell an Avenger story. I mean, you've probably watched the films, and you guys have read the comics, and played the video games and all that stuff. But at a theme park, as you know, the story's about you. You're the protagonist of the narrative, and so thinking about what an Avengers experience means and what your role in that story is really what the Avengers Campus is all about. It's how you get to learn and train and be worthy to fight alongside the Avengers, because we have to make you a part of the story, or we're not doing our job right. Because that's really what it's about.
Well, and I love that it's framed in that way, because it's been sort of a recurring trend in terms of, like Galaxy's Edge, you're living your own story, and I think it goes back to Walt's original intention for Disneyland. He didn't want you to just sort of necessarily be a passive observer, but really, like Snow White, you were the protagonist in that, and you've sort of been able to take that to obviously an exponentially new level.
Yeah, and you know what? There are different levels of engagement that people want to do, right? Some people, I always got to think about my dad, and like, is he going to get this? Because he's not like a comic book guy at all. Is he going to understand what we're doing? So and probably not. So he's probably not going to understand that he's a superhero along for the ride. Like, he's just going to be like, that was a cool ride. Like, I went really fast. That was fun. And so I think you got to cater to that person too, right? That they are just they're on a great ride and they're having a good time, and we put on a good show and they got a cool story. And if you want to dive deeper and find the Easter eggs, and you want to understand the narrative and how it connects to what's happening in Hong Kong, in Paris, and in Epcot now, that's another level of engagement, and that's what we kind of nerd out on is, how do we connect the story, which is a hallmark for a Marvel film or a comic book or anything. It's like it's an interconnected narrative, and what we're doing in the theme parks is no different. It's all one giant story. So when Tony Stark is in Hong Kong at the Stark Expo, we have to acknowledge that when he shows up elsewhere. How did he get there? What's he doing? Why is he there? And hopefully it doesn't take away from your experience, but it adds to it and makes it stronger.
Yeah. Right. You're not just copying an attraction that exists elsewhere. There's a campus here and there's a campus in Paris, and each one operates collectively but independently, and they all tell different parts of an overarching story.
Yeah, I mean, what we talked about today was the Worldwide Engineering Brigade. It's in the name, Worldwide Engineering Brigade, or WEB for short. Peter Parker's doing a great job at hiding his secret identity.
Just so you know, every word that's coming out of your mouth is just making my little heart swell.
Here, we'll hold hands. We'll do this. We got this.
That's awesome.
Spider-Man's a great character. He's the most popular character in the world. And I think, what you get to do at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is you have that aspirational moment of, oh my gosh, I'm walking on the Millennium Falcon. Well, when you're doing a Spider-Man story, you're telling a Spider-Man story, I want to get to, like, sling webs like Spider-Man. I want to do the things that Spider-Man does. But in lieu of having everybody bit by a radioactive spider, we come up with a narrative that makes sense that allows you to do that. And that's where the Worldwide Engineering Brigade was born, was they're creating tech that allows you to experience these kinds of things. And there's going to be a lot of Easter eggs in that attraction. Like deep cuts for fans of all the superheroes, right? And especially Spider-Man, of course.
Right, so if you read Amazing Fantasy 15 and everything after, or you're just sort of dipping your toe into the Marvel world and maybe just know Spider-Man from movies and things like that, there's going to be something along the entire spectrum.
Right, yeah, I mean, as deep as you want to go, like I was talking about. Like, if you just, hey, I think it'd be cool to sling webs like Spider-Man, because everybody knows how to do that, right? I mean, even the people that don't know Spider-Man all that well know what that is, right?
I've been waiting my whole life to do this.
And you will get to do it a lot. I promise.
Are you going to have sleeping bags there for the Uber geeks that won't leave?
Yeah, okay. I'll be right there with them. I'll buy everybody pizza. That'll be great. J.J. Abrams style.
There you go.
So Spider-Man is just one of, and look, I can talk about Spider-Man all day, but Spider-Man, do we have an official name for the attraction?
Not yet.
Okay.
I mean, we do.
Well, I don't. Wait,
it's locked
he does.
Here.
We don't.
Good save.
It's locked in.
So, I didn't realize I was trying to trip you up until it was coming out of my mouth. I'm like, oh.
I know your games, Lou.
But Spider-Man is not the only character that is going to have an adventure in there too. We didn't learn a lot, but I think a lot of people got super excited about not just being able to do this with their web shooters, but maybe be able to do some of this with their sling rings.
Yeah, you gotta. That's a big part of it, right? It's a big part of the universe. Is you gotta learn about the mystic arts, learn about Pym particles and what they're doing over there, and the Avengers themselves. You know, that collection of kind of misfits in a way. And how about the Guardians of the Galaxy, who Mission Breakout is a part of it? It's a part of the Avengers campus. And what's the Collector doing here? Like, those are all questions that we're going to be answering, right? And the e-ticket that Bob announced is going to be the ultimate manifestation of that. And so, as excited as I am for Phase 1, Phase 2 is going to be just as exciting.
And for us, you know, we can't wait just to see any part of Phase 1. But then when you see that tease for the Quinjet experience, whatever it's going to be called, and Black Panther, and then what looked to be a piece of concept art that was eerily reminiscent of a final battle scene of Avengers Endgame with all kinds of stuff going on, I may have squeed just a little bit.
That's all. It's very squee-worthy.
Is that an official Marvel thing? Look, guys, it's got to be squee-worthy.
It's squee-worthy.
If it's not
Hashtag,
squee-worthy-
what are we doing? What are we doing if it's not
squee-worthy.
squee-worthy? Yeah, I mean, Bob said it. To Wakanda and beyond. And what you saw in that piece of concept art, look, we don't have a 3-hour experience, so we've got to put you right into the climax of the narrative right from the beginning. So hopefully you've done your training leading up to that, and you're ready to fight alongside the Avengers. And it's going to be an all-new threat, by the way.
I'm staring into your eyes, not just in a loving kind of way, but trying to read something about what might be coming next, because I just can't wait for it.
He's
for it
really
to come
good
out.
at this. Can you tell?
I love it.
I know.
I love it.
And the other thing that I saw have you guys all been to the, what do you call it, the Disney Parks booth, the Disney Parks
Pavilion.
Have you all been? Have you gone to the Avengers campus room inside and gone to the back wall where all of a sudden, dude, you're Tony Stark, man. You're doing the whole thing, making stuff sort of come like without having to actually touch the screen.
Yeah, no, I mean, just the booth itself is an experience in and of itself. But I love what's happening with PimTech. I think we throw around the term Instagrammable a lot, and I think that is definitely one of our goals with it, is big and small, food, drinks, like PimTech's going hog wild. And so I think that's going to be a ton of fun. Learning the mystic arts from Doctor Strange, going on a Spider-Man adventure. The Spider-Bots, pretty cute, right?
Adorable and creepy at the exact same time.
Wait till there's a lot of them.
Great.
Wait till you can buy them in the store on the way out, which is what...
I can neither confirm nor deny.
You don't have to confirm. I'm going to confirm you're going to be able to buy a Spider-Bot, and I just want one on my shelf as quickly as possible.
They're great. I mean, and they're intended to do exactly what you just mentioned, right?
Great.
They gotta be cute, and they gotta pose a threat too. Spider-Man needs us, so we're on the web slinger vehicle that Webb has created, and Spider-Man's going to be in his new web suit, which you can see now in the parks. And so, what does that suit do, and what are we going to do? How are we going to help Spider-Man? That's all part of the fun.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet Spidey a couple of times on this last trip to Disneyland, and I dig the new suit, man.
I'm glad you like it.
I dig the fact that it pays tribute to the original,
Yeah.
but with a little bit of a modern twist and maybe a few upgrades.
Yeah, no, and I gotta tip my hat to Ryan Meinerding from Marvel Studios. I mean, he's head of visual development over there, and we asked him to give us a design, and he knocked it out of the park. So it feels authentically Spider-Man, but is something new that we've never seen before. And if you played the Spider-Man game, every new suit that you got to play had new abilities and new things that you could do. So we're not just going to put him in new threads for no reason. Like, it's got to unlock new powers. So we're having some of the fun is kind of partnering up with Imagineering and having these really deep conversations about what Spider-Man can do. Really deep stuff. That's just a blast. It's a blast to come up with.
All right,
And we
good
do
take.
get crazy inevitably.
Favorite suit in the Spider-Man PS4 game?
Gosh.
When you play at home, what's like, this is my go-to suit?
I go classic. I go the classic red and blue. Just 'cause, I love the new one. I love the white one. You have a balloon version of over here. But I think in my heart, I go classic red and blue Spidey.
I'm with you, man. I even dig the 67 cartoon version.
Yeah. You don't have to overthink it, man. Spider-Man, he's got a great suit.
That was a great picture op over there that you guys
Which
put
one?
up. It was the 60s, the comic book Spider-Man over on the side. I think you have, like 40 pictures so far with that picture
I
op?
may or may not love. The only thing I might love more, not more than Spider-Man, but the Pym Kitchen.
Oh, jeez.
I'm trying
Pym Test Kitchen.
Pym Test Kitchen. I'm trying to imagine, like, literally supersizing. Like, I want a taco that's like this big,
as big as
and I
your
want
head.
vegetables that are like this big, and I can grow or shrink depending on.
That's a great idea. You're hired. Yeah.
That's got so many possibilities to
Yeah,
it. So many
yeah.
opportunities for dining and entertainment and some fun.
And that's part of it, right? It's like it's got to be fun, and we can't lose sight of that. I think sometimes we do get so locked in on telling the story that sometimes we got to take a step back and go, are we just having fun? Like, is this experiential? Is this a place you want to be? And make sure that we check all the boxes for sure. And that's fun for everybody, for all ages. That's one of the great things about Spider-Man too is no height requirement. So Lou, you're in.
I knew I liked you.
I'm just messing with you, brother. No height requirement. Whole family. It's for everybody.
Rocket can get in, is what you're saying. Rocket can ride. Yeah, see?
Rocket can't ride Mission
There you
Breakout. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why he needs us.
Exactly.
Scan those hands. Right?
I'm in.
The best ride ever.
It's a party and a
You win.
ride.
A dozen times this trip.
Yeah.
And you got to
Awesome.
see. We finally got the super secret chaser song.
Which one is that? What's this? Burning Love?
Yeah. Some of us haven't gotten that one yet.
I don't know what to tell
Some
you.
of us haven't gotten that one yet.
When we test wrote it, when we were creating it at like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, because we'd have to wait for the park to close. And, we're there with Joe Rohde at 2 o'clock in the morning, writing it over and over and over. But it was fun every time. It was a blast.
It's a party and a ride. You
It
get
is,
on,
yeah.
you get in there, the music starts, everybody starts clapping and dancing in their seat as much as you can with the whole, strap system. And when it stops, you just want it to start again.
Yeah, and and that's that one's a great example too of, we start telling the story right from the beginning, and what's your role, how are you the protagonist, why do the Guardians need you, and Rocket literally needs you, and how that factors into Avengers Campus is going to be fun.
And one of the things I love about that attraction, and like you said, with what's coming on the Easter eggs. Look, when the attraction first opened, that's one of the things I enjoy going to do is trying to find the stuff that you hide inside and outside. I think the picture I took most when the attraction opened was of the Avengers hatch, sort of tucked away on the side. I'm like, something else is coming that wouldn't be here otherwise.
Yeah, it's true.
So what's your?
I can't comment any further.
I was
on
gonna
that.
say, just come on, just a little.
I can't. I literally can't.
So
Like,
so from a fan
as
perspective,
much as I would like to.
what's the favorite Easter egg that you have found or maybe placed inside Guardians?
My name is in there. That's kind of cool. But it's in like the celestial font, so no one would ever know unless you go through and literally translate everything. Yeah, my kids think that's cool. My favorite Easter egg is actually it's a tease to the Stark Expo. And so if you look at when you're in the queue and you go to where the lockers are, I think it's like the first locker. You got to look super deep in the cracks of the locker, and it's a way deep cut. No, you'll miss it for sure. But in there, you'll see a sticker for the Stark Expo in Hong Kong. And you guys have been on Iron Man experience, right? So in that ride, in that attraction, when you're in there watching the opening film, there is a shot of the Daily Bugle newspaper that pops up that talks about the breakout. And so that's an Easter egg that's in Hong Kong, teasing what's happening at Guardians.
Okay, speaking of Hong Kong really quickly.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned this as much as he talks about Selma Hayek, is the temporary experience that was
An
there.
Eternal, by the way. Salma Hayek, the Eternal.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
You're welcome.
He's
best
yes. You did. Did he pay you for that?
I had nothing to do
Did
with
he
it.
pay you for that? Because I will tell you, those words have probably been the most.
She is an
yeah,
incredibly
you can-
talented actress,
You,
by the
you
way.
can thank Kevin for
I
that.
didn't mean to take it that direction. However, the experience,
You're in
the
trouble.
temporary experience in Hong Kong, the
Oh,
walkthrough.
Dimensions of Danger.
Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
Any type of that technology we're going to see somewhere else, or any
I
of
can
those
tell-
elements?
That was fun to do, and I'll tell you
That was
why.
amazing.
Because we had been talking for a long time about Halloween mazes, right? And typically, like a Halloween maze really just gets used for Halloween. And we said, why does it have to be scary? Could it be an adventure? Could it be action? Could it be funny? Could it be something different from Halloween? And so really, and the Halloween mazes, I don't know if you've been to Hong Kong during Halloween.
We were there.
It's like
That's when we were
scary,
there.
like scary, like
Really
Dude,
creepy.
I still have nightmares about the Pinocchio.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
So you know what I'm talking about. So they love the mazes over there. So we said, hey, could we do one with Marvel? And so that's what we did. That's what Dimensions of Danger how it came to be. And it really was, how do we take the characters that we have, frankly, the costume characters, weave them together into one narrative and create and use the maze format. And I don't know. I hope you liked it. I thought it
We
came out
couldn't
good.
pick our jaws up off the floor. It was.
And the way it's constructed, it almost looks like a temporary attraction. You know, it looks like something that they.
It was.
I mean, it was,
Yeah.
like it looked like they put a bunch of trailers together and cut holes in them and like
And yes, that's what
and
they
literally
did.
let us run through. You know, which is something that
Okay.
probably couldn't happen the same way here.
See, that's the thing that got me was the. Okay, you gotta run. And you're literally told and encouraged to run as fast as you could from scene 1 to
Right.
scene 2, which
Right.
you would never see here.
Yeah. No, it was just another format. It's another storytelling medium, right? Is the maze, and so and then Mission Breakout was another example. Like Tower of Terror is something that we know and love. How do we take something that's really a suspenseful, scary ride and turn it into a party ride, right? And that's the same thing. And so to me, it's
fantastic.
how you tell a story is kind of irrelevant. It's just another way of telling a story.
Well, and your Mission Breakout is interesting because I like any attraction that I ride, I do it not just as for my own sake, but I like to watch the reactions of other people. And in Mission Breakout, you know from riding it 1,800 times in a row, you look around, maybe not at 1,800 times, but I watch the faces of my family and the other people who are in the car, and everybody is smiling from ear to ear throughout the entire attraction.
Yeah, no, and it was. I got the same, experience when I got to ride with my kids for the first time, and it was the same thing. Everybody's just having a blast. I think when ABC came on is when my kids really nerded out. I don't know why, but they really liked that one. I think Hit Me With Your Best Shot is my favorite. Little Pat Benatar, never hurts. But all of them have their own charm. But I think one of the challenging things was finding songs that worked with the cadence of the drop sequence. And of course, we initially started with all the songs that are from the film, but a lot of them didn't work. And so we had to choose songs that were of that era, that felt authentic to what we've seen in the Guardians films, and then find songs that worked with that kind of experience.
And it's the rewritability factor. I mean, once it's once you know that there's more than a couple of songs, my kids are like, we need to go ride again. We're literally trying to chase, one so they can check them off all the list, and then finding out some that, as the doors open and you see Star-Lord and some of the characters, not every time is it the exact same thing. So there's a huge rewritability factor.
Yeah, rewritability is a big deal, and frankly, all of our attractions that we work on. But I think especially in Anaheim, you have such a high number of repeat guests. So things like Midway Mania work really well. Things like Buzz Lightyear, and what we're doing with Spider-Man is going to be incredibly rewritable. I hope. Because there's going to be new things to unlock and find, and secrets and different ways to interact with the environment. And we have a lot of things planned that I think people are going to dig, and hopefully get them to come back and keep writing it over and over. That's because we can watch. I can watch the films and read the comics over and over. But I guess for some people it's like once I've seen it, I've seen it. The parks, it's a different story, right? We got to we're not designing for today. We're designing for 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Who knows when we're going to come back in and revisit some of these ideas. maybe never. You know, I mean, you can still ride Haunted Mansion today, and there's a few things that have changed, but largely it's the same ride it's always been, and we still love it, and we keep going on it again and again. And you know, these things have been around for 50, 60 years, and so we got a plan for that.
One thing I did enjoy was the Halloween overlay of Guardians.
Oh yeah,
that was very cool, and you can kind of change that up on a pretty quick snap. Is it like
snap?
at 6 o'clock? Well, yeah. Well,
it was
see what I
inevitable.
did there? Yeah. So it's 6 o'clock. It's 1. It's 6:01. It's another, and it was really cool to see that overlay.
That did happen really quick, and we were a little nervous about it happening so quick, but we worked with Tyler Bates, I believe is his name, and he wrote an original song for Monsters After Dark, and which is available on iTunes actually if you want to listen to it. Shameless plug. But yeah, Monsters After Dark was fun to do, and it was actually a bit of a tease for Thor Ragnarok that was coming out later that fall, because that creature showed up in Thor Ragnarok.
And the thing that I love about you and obviously your team is I can tell that the things that you do come from a place of passion. Like this is not a job for you. I almost think that you sometimes have to go home like, I can't believe they actually pay me for this. Because this is like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely days when it's work, right? Where it's hard and you get frustrated. We don't always agree on everything, and you know, I mean, we're all creative people. We all have ideas, and you know, it's not like we all go, oh great, you came up with an idea, we all love it, and let's go. And I don't care how much it's going to cost, right? Like that's not reality. Reality is, you know, it's a collaboration, and with collaboration comes agreements and disagreements and sacrifices, and you know, pulling and pushing and bending and compromising and coming up with something that hopefully we all at the end of the day are proud of and we're excited about. And I think that's where we are with Avengers Campus. Is we're at a place where, you know, it's been a lot of minds coming together. It's been in the works a long time, and we've gone through a lot of iterations, and you know, like any attraction does. So to see it finally announced and see pictures of it, you know, on the interwebs and here at the D23 Expo is really gratifying, finally.
So the Guardians of the Galaxy, something Rewind. What is it? Cosmic Rewind. Does that sort of play into the entire story of what's happening on other coasts, or is that sort of independent?
It's all connected,
It's all
man.
connected.
Hashtag, it's all connected. I would like to take credit for that. I said it in like a panel one time, and I got credit, but it's not mine. Jeff Loeb from Marvel Television gets credit for It's All Connected. Hashtag It's All Connected.
I'm going to give it to you, just
all right,
because
cool.
you're sitting here.
Sorry, Jeff. But yeah, no, it's definitely connected. In fact, if you go and look at the map at the pavilion right now, you'll see the Avengers Global Initiative, and you'll see a little blip down in Florida that says Zandarian Outpost, I believe. So it's definitely connected to what we're doing.
Cool, man. Actually, I know you're obviously...
There's a mobile base too, which cruise line.
Oh, gotcha. If the
Take my
Marvel
money now.
cruise left out of Port Canaveral, I would be
Oh.
a very poor man.
Yeah.
A more poorer man than I already am now. But
All connected, brother.
I'm thinking that may need to go on the list. It may need to go on the list.
Shanghai, there's a mission outpost that I believe there. Yes. And
We're going
Paris
back there.
and Hong Kong.
We're going there and there.
Anaheim.
Yeah, we're going there too.
We're all going. We're all going together.
Just block your calendar for 2021, 2022, and 2023. Yeah.
So wait, speaking of blocked out calendars for the future,
I don't know the exact dates.
if I remember correctly, when we talked on the Marvel Day at Sea Cruise, when we did an interview at the Promenade Lounge at like 12:30 at night after a very, very long and exciting day,
Yeah.
you were a trooper. We were talking about as you know, not just as a creator and a creative, but as a fan, things that you wanted to see. Did I or did I not remember correctly that one of the characters you wanted to see brought to screen was Moon Knight?
100%. Yeah.
See, I do pay attention.
I know. Thank you. No, honestly, Moon Knight is one of my favorite characters, and my two favorite characters are Moon Knight and Frank Castle, Punisher. So I got a great Punisher series, and I'm really excited to see what Marvel Studios is going to do with Moon Knight. Disney Plus, by the way, and this is not shameless plug time, I think it's a steal Like if you're not signing up right now, I don't know.
Done.
Then
No.
I question your
They literally
loyalty.
are giving you. There's no
It's crazy.
reason not to sign up. Anybody not sign up for Disney Plus yet? Don't raise your hands. I just want to go over
They
to
won't
my
let
pin.
you?
I want to go do it.
I can't help you. But I got my founder's pin. I signed up immediately as soon as I saw the Moon Knight announcement. I actually did not know about the Moon Knight announcement.
Oh wow.
That one caught me by surprise. Yeah, I knew Ms. Marvel, but I did not know Moon Knight and She-Hulk.
And
So,
She-Hulk,
thank
people
you.
lost their marbles with She-Hulk.
Yes, I can't wait.
Girl power. Again, the whole thing has been girl power, and I've been very, very excited about it.
And there's some great nonfiction content. You know, the Hero Project and Marvel Storyboards with Joe Quesada. Yeah, there's just a ton of great stuff. And that's not even talking about the Mandalorian and all the cool Disney stuff. Like, there's some great stuff on Disney Plus. I'm genuinely pumped about it. I think it's gonna be really cool.
Right, at $6.99 a month. I mean, it's a coffee at Starbucks. Like how
There you go.
it's almost literally how can you not sign up for it?
Basically, at Marvel, our goal is to have you captivated 24 hours a day, whether it's on screen at a theme park, on your mobile device, on your video game console, at Target now.
Oh yeah.
Literally,
Everywhere we go.
I got my $10 gift card.
Everywhere we go. Did you
I
get
got
the
my-
2300?
I did not
Mine
get
is-
a 23. Oh, that's not it.
I haven't looked at mine
This
yet.
is the
Yeah.
2300.
I'm hoping-
I feel it.
You got it?
I feel it. I just gotta feel it. How'd you check it?
Hey, on the back, it says how much it's worth.
Oh,
You got to take it off the thing.
Oh, I haven't looked at mine yet.
Mine was not 2,300,
Oh, I
but
have to scratch it.
I will spend that $10 happily.
In the Disney section.
And
right?
just go back into the stuff that they pay me with, which is kind of weird. But
There you go.
So I have to scratch off the back? Is
No,
that what it is?
no.
No, it's just
wait,
on
it
the.
says
It's
it?
just on the
Oh, wait.
back.
look how serious you got all of a sudden.
No, it's $2,300 of Marvel and Disney stuff. Are you kidding?
$290.
You got to pull it all the way.
Come on, use your good mojo, man.
$10, brother.
Do it again. This one's
Sorry.
worked.
There's something wrong.
It's still
broken.
good. It's still good.
It's broken.
Nobody's a loser at the D23 Expo.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
No one's a loser. We all got $10. Nice. But yeah, I mean, I kind of kid, but literally, I mean, if you want Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, in every facet of your life, check. It's everywhere.
And
I just walked to the booth next door, and I'm excited about the Disney Collect trading card app. I'm a nerd about the trading card app already, like the Marvel one and the Star Wars, and I'm a baseball fan, so all three like tops trading card apps, and now they got Disney, so I'm all in. So I'm a sucker. I love it all.
And that's why, I mean, especially like this part is so cool because it really sort of lets you live out your fandom, your nerddom anyway, and as much as you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I love going to the conventions. It's, whether it's doing signings with some of the paintings and stuff that I do, or coming to San Diego Comic-Con, or New York Comic-Con, or C2E2, or D23 Expo. Like, these conventions are a blast, because, a lot of times we are kind of in a bubble when we're creating this stuff, and, it's, going through thousands of emails and doing drawings and reviewing artwork and giving story notes and sometimes you kind of get lost in what you're doing, and then you go down to Disneyland and you see people enjoying it, or you come to an event like this and you see it announced and hear the crowd go crazy, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why.
It must be
it's the
really,
best.
It must
It's
be
the
really
best.
hard though, keeping that inside, knowing the
Sucks.
information, knowing how crazy
Keeping
people are going to
secrets
be
is
about
awful.
it, and then sitting there just at the anticipation of how they're going to react when they hear the news.
Especially when Lou looks at me with
Yeah.
those big browns.
I
and
know,
then-
he tries.
And like I want to give him all the goods, but I gotta withhold some of it. And
But I mean, what a fantastic way to make a living. I mean, do you literally just sit there sometimes and go, they pay me for this?
sometimes.
Yeah.
But then I think about how hard I work.
Yeah.
I'm like, they should pay me for this. So it's not like I'm just sitting around reading comic books all day.
Or
You
playing
know.
apps or,
Right.
yeah.
But
Picking
I
songs.
don't honestly. I really don't love the secrets part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. Because I want to talk about it. And that's why I don't mind doing an interview at 12:30 at night. Because when I can like talk about this stuff, I'm excited about it. We want to share it with you guys. And, so it's cool to be in an event like this and be able to talk about some of this stuff finally.
Yeah, and I saw you up. You were literally on center stage teaching, drawing the Marvel way?
Yeah, how to draw the Marvel way.
So who'd you draw while you were up there?
I taught people how to draw Iron Man on Friday. Thought it was appropriate with Robert Downey Jr., now Disney legend Robert Downey Jr., not a bad title. And then we did Spider-Man yesterday. So we had fun, and I try to keep it pretty simple, walk the fans through step by step of how to draw these. And really, it's just the way I do it. There's a million ways to do it. It's how I learned. But that's kind of what's great to me about comics is every artist is going to do it a little bit differently and kind of put their own spin on it. And so this is just one way of how I do it. And hopefully, excite somebody about how to draw.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man artist?
Todd McFarlane. Yeah, because I'm a huge my first comic book ever was a Todd McFarlane book for the Distinguished Competition, so I won't go too into detail about it. But it was the issue of Detective Comics that Todd drew, and I just fell in love with his artwork. It was not like any other comic book art I'd ever seen. And then when he started doing Spider-Man, I was mesmerized by all the webbing and the big eyes.
Yeah, a wild departure from regular Spider-Man.
His legs are like posed over his head, and it was just so dynamic. And then when he created Spawn, I was all in. And so yeah, Todd was my favorite artist, period. And then the first Comic-Con I ever went to was just so I could meet Todd and have him sign Spawn #1. And I never forget it because he goes, "How you doing, bud?" And I don't know why, but it stood out to me. So whenever I do a signing and I meet a young man or young lady, I would say, "How you doing, bud?" And that's my thing. It's my go-to. And it's because of Todd. But yeah, so he's my favorite Spider-Man artist.
I love that story, man, because you're paying homage to somebody whose work you appreciate. Did you get your variant cover yesterday?
I did. I was there. I did not. I wanted to make sure the fans got taken care of.
And then you got yours. And then you took 6
yeah,
copies.
hopefully, I'm hoping to get one when I get back to the office because that cover, Humberto Ramos, by the way, stud artist. I think you could do no wrong. I saw it as a very early sketch, and it was hard to tell what was happening. It was just super rough, and then they told me, "Oh, it's Humberto." I'm like, "It's gonna be great. Don't worry about it."
And lots of Easter eggs.
Tons of Easter eggs in there, and a very rare kind of pairing of Mickey and the Marvel characters. So yeah, that variant, if you got one, hold on to it.
Or go to eBay where they were selling last night for $500. Completed auctions.
$500.
What completed auctions?
I'm not opening
$500.
mine.
Dear CB Cebulski, I need my copy. Stop it. $500?
Yeah.
$500.
Well,
And
that was yesterday, so who knows where it is today.
it's $520 today?
Wow.
And because it's a limited run of, do you know how many they made?
Not many. We made it
It's
just
only
for the
here,
Expo.
right?
Yeah. It was a very limited run, extremely exclusive. I can tell you what happened to the original piece, though. Fun fact.
It's in your house.
It's not in my house. Dan Buckley, president of Marvel Entertainment, got the original piece of art. I believe he bought it from Humberto, and he gifted it to Bob Iger. So Bob Iger has the original piece.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
So I don't say anything, but I hope Bob sits there tonight and looks at that picture and sees Spider-Man and Mickey like practically arm in arm and embracing, and knowing that is where the two of them belong at home together.
You said not to say anything.
Say whatever you want, but I wasn't trying to. That's.
I think sometimes it's hard to do, and where it works and it's appropriate, I don't mind it. And I think that was a case where it's appropriate. Hey, but we did give you Mickey and friends in Marvel-inspired gear, did we not?
Yes.
Like Mickey's
lines.
wearing his Captain America fan gear. Minnie is wearing her Ghost Spider-inspired fan gear. Goofy is like Tony Stark. Like those are pretty cool, and those were not an easy sell.
yeah.
But I really fought for those because I thought they were awesome.
That's you? That's all you made that happen?
No, I didn't design them, but like
No, I mean, you made that happen, though.
I worked
Say
on
yes,
them.
just say yes.
No, I worked. There were so many people, man. I can't take credit for that. But like Disney Live Entertainment, they came up with the idea, and it was one of those like mashups that kind of makes some people uncomfortable. And I said, I think this is a win. As long as they're not we're not saying that's Iron Man. It's like Goofy as a fan of Iron Man. And so that was cool. Like, I buy that. Yeah. And I think people dig it. I hope. I think they're cool.
And I'm not normally, other than meeting Spider-Man himself, I'm not normally one to line up for characters, but we did it the other day. We lined up for Mickey and Minnie. Yeah.
And they were in their Marvel gear?
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. That whole little section over
We
there.
have approval from your wife.
The last time I was here, the Captain Marvel jet wasn't there, and I walked over.
Captain Marvel jet. Yeah.
The Captain Marvel jet
Yeah.
with the photo op with her meet, and I didn't even know that it was there. And then when I found the Stan Lee tribute that's in there, I thought that was just the coolest thing I ever read.
Not bad. And the best part about doing stuff like that is not talking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just letting people find it. And that's when you posted it, I was like, nice. Lou, you did not disappoint. I was so pumped. Yeah.
And even the little area where Spider-Man meets, there's an Oscorp air conditioner. There's Mr. Delmar's, best subs and queens. Too much bread. I like bread.
And I think there's a new deli sign up.
Really?
Take a look. Just saying.
Like New Delhi as in recently real?
Recent, yes.
Ooh. Might have to go back to the parks.
Guess we're going to Disneyland tonight.
There you go. There's lots of stuff in there. That's just fun. I mean, that's the fun stuff. When you got to do a Spider-Man heroic encounter meet and greet thing, and okay, but how do we make that extra cool? And the live entertainment team, I love working with them. They're just awesome, and it was a shift too. We start talking about, like the Marvel Spectacular on the cruise ship, right? The nighttime spectacular.
Best Disney show anywhere.
That's
right.
Where you go, hey, this
Anywhere?
is not the same Disney kind of show. Like, this is a different group of characters who behave differently. It's just a different approach, and they have taken to it like nothing else. And I love working with them.
Can we have a Marvel week at sea instead of a Marvel day at sea?
Hey, from your mouth to Bob's ears.
Because when he
sounds good. I'm in.
When he came back from that, he had nothing but awesome. I have not done it myself. I
gotta
would
do it.
really like to go. It would be great to put a group together to go. Hint. However, I didn't. A day though, it seems like you've got all of those. All the characters are on board, and all that imagination is going on, and all the fans are there. How about 3 Marvel days at sea?
You don't have to. I'm not going to fight you on that idea. I think it sounds great.
Lou, call him. Call whoever you need to call and make that happen.
So take off your Marvel jacket, your credential for a minute, and just as a fan, with so much that's happening, whether it's the shows on Disney Plus, what's coming to the parks domestically, what's coming to the parks internationally, what is the one that fan Brian Crosby at home can't wait to go and experience?
I'm sorry, you said just the parks or like?
No, anywhere. It could be Moonlight, it could be TV, movies, whatever.
Well, I think
Blade.
Blade, yeah. I'm really excited about. I'm genuinely excited about everything. And Moon Knight we already talked about, so I'll pick something different than Moon Knight. I'm really excited for the Avengers e-ticket attraction. I think it's just going to be the most awesome thing you've ever done. And I'm also really excited about Marvel Comics number 1000 that comes out this week. It's a great.
I have a copy of the variant cover if you'd like to buy it.
Do you?
I'll
Did you
give
get one?
I did.
Oh, you were you there?
You better believe I was there.
Oh, I didn't see you.
And I'm going to steal my son's
You were there too? Awesome. That was great.
I'll sell it to you for $400.
No, I think, and also, so what's happening in Marvel Comics right now, I think C.B. Cebulski, editor-in-chief, is just, besides being a great friend, I think he has a head for Marvel history and legacy, and also doing something new and fresh that is so exciting and to be around. It's very contagious. So I love what's happening with writers like Jason Aaron and Donny Cates are just crushing it. It's just a great time to be a Marvel fan. The Avengers game that's coming, excited about that. And I think of all the movie announcements that we saw at San Diego Comic-Con, Phase 4, for me, I'm excited about them all, but Thor, Love and Thunder, I'm sorry. I can't wait.
I'm not sorry.
I can't wait.
I'm okay with this.
Like, Jane Foster, Thor, If you did not read
Yeah.
that story,
Yeah.
do it right now. Stop doing the show. Go home and read it. 'Cause, I mean, Jason Aaron, I think is the best writer in comics right now.
Wow.
I think he's phenomenal. I mean, and I love many of them dearly. But Jason, I mean, when we have retreats up in New York and he comes in and pitches his story ideas, like the room almost just comes to a hush. Like, this guy's a genius. Like, we're sitting in the room with a genius, and he nails it. And that story, he took an idea that could have seemed like pandering in a way, and like, we didn't really need, it's just Girl Thor, and he made it genuinely awesome with a great story, with an evolution of a character that we knew, and I think he endeared that character to everybody. I kind of compare it to like Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars, where like I remember when Ahsoka first came out, a lot of people were like, really, Anakin had a Padawan? I don't know. But Ashley Eckstein brought her to life in such an amazing way, and he told such a great story that like suddenly we all became Ahsoka Tano fans. And I think Jane Foster Thor is right there, and I can't believe Natalie is coming back to portray Jane Foster, and then Taika's Jack Kirby-esque approach to it is going to be just a ton of fun. I can't wait.
Have you read that yet?
So that's a long way of saying I'm excited about genuinely everything that's happened. And I'm trying not to offend anyone.
No, I know. Listen, it's including the things that when I saw you at the Marvel Day of at Sea, you did a presentation about the history. I think of I don't remember what it's called, the history of Marvel Comics or whatever. And you walked out on stage with a shirt that may or may not have been somewhat reminiscent of a Fantastic Four type logo. So when Kevin at Comic-Con sort of, we don't have enough time to talk about it, but when there was mention of Fantastic Four,
just casually.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
casually slip that in.
Mutants and Fantastic Four.
Yeah. I mean, how could we not be excited about that, right? I mean, it's the first family of Marvel, and so they're great characters. Dan Slott's telling a great story with them right now in Marvel Comics, and it's going to be great to see what Kevin and his team do with it at some point. I don't know what's coming. I don't know when. I really don't.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
You're lying.
I'm
no, you're
literally
lying.
not lying. I didn't know Moon Knight was coming. I don't know.
Really? No, you didn't know?
I really didn't know. Yeah. I told you, Ms. Marvel was the only one I knew.
Wow.
So they're a very secretive group. So we know what we need to know.
So that's one of the things I love so much is you guys are just as excited and just as pumped as we all are about everything that's been announced and everything that's going on and everything that's coming. And some of the stuff you don't even know, you probably jump up and down squeak just like little 7-year-old Lil Montello.
And then, Avengers Endgame was such an amazing conclusion to all those 23 interconnected films. And then Kevin walks out on stage and announces Phase 4. You're like, we're far from done. Like, we got a lot more to do, a lot more battles to fight. And so, but I mean, Endgame, that Avengers Assemble moment gives me goosebumps every single time. And I love watching people watch that for the first time. Like sitting next to my son during Avengers Endgame was just, did you do that? I mean,
yeah, man.
Their face, it's the best, man. So when we need you to react, like in a big way, because like that's what we just thrive on.
So you were in the presentation yesterday?
Yeah.
So and they announced Moon Knight. Were you like, oh my god? I mean, you obviously.
Oh no, that presentation, no. I was teaching people how to draw Spider-Man. So I missed it. So I found out after my brother-in-law. Actually,
you didn't know before yesterday?
No, I really didn't know, and I'm not just making stuff up. My brother-in-law sent me a text, and all he showed me was the Moon Knight logo, and he said, "Finally!" Exclamation! And I'm like, that's not real. Like that's fan-made. And he goes, "No, dude, it's real. Like it just got announced." So of course I had to look it up, and sure enough, yeah, man, I didn't know. I didn't know it was coming. So that was exciting to see.
I mean, not to rub it in, because I'm sorry that of course I was there and I didn't get to see your presentation. But when they announced,
I was a little hurt. I looked out on the island. I don't see Lou.
I was sitting right there. Look, I was in
like little Lou. That's the stand-in.
I do love
stand-in Lou.
But when they announced Ms. Marvel, again the room lost its mind.
Yes.
Right? I mean, when we showed the Avengers game trailer at San Diego Comic-Con, and for just a split second, you see a character that kind of looks like Ms. Marvel, 6,000 people went bananas. There's a lot of love for that character.
Why? What is it about her?
I think she's a modern Peter Parker, to be honest. I mean, Sana Monet, who is a dear friend of mine, and she helped create that character with Steve Wacker, and that character is so much a character of today. I mean, she, much like Peter Parker, she's a character who's uncomfortable in her own skin, and as a teenager going through changes, and so her power set, her embiggening powers, her polymorph powers, are a literal manifestation of that teenage discomfort of being in a kind of a like what's happening to my body kind of a thing. And I think that's when our characters are at their best, is when their powers are a manifestation of some of their weaknesses or things that hold them back, and then they overcome through those powers.
Brian, I've been asking myself what's happening with this body for years, and I have no superpowers to show for it.
Did you not see Avengers Endgame, my friend? You can still be worthy. I'm right there with you. Bro Thor is the best thing that ever happened to guys like you and me.
Do you know how sad I was when I saw that? when he made the appearance on the screen.
Like melted ice cream?
I was so...
One of the greatest lines in cinema history.
I almost cried. And I still am kind of crying.
Yeah.
Because there's like 30 of them walking around here today.
So suddenly we all went, I can do that costume.
It's going to be the Halloween costume for 2019.
Yep.
Like
Every gym membership away.
So
I got
basically
this.
your Ewok costume is now out the door. That's you're doing Fat Thor.
Totally Fat Thor.
Bro Thor.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so sorry, Fat Thor.
Thor has feelings too.
Yeah.
I mean, he ate most of them. But he has...
Not untrue. What were we even talking about?
Well,
I have no idea.
Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Marvel. Yeah, no, I do think Ms. Marvel though is a modern Peter Parker. Like all those things
That's
that
a good analogy.
we found relatable about Peter Parker. I mean, I wasn't there personally, but in the '60s, and we find relatable about Peter Parker today.
He was right there, by the way.
There he is.
Look,
I see myself right there looking at the pop vinyls. But Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan. I mean, the way even when I mentioned some of the like retreats, right? And hearing creators talk about the characters they're working on, and seldom do they refer to them as their like character names. It's like, what's happening with Kamala today? What's happening to Tony? Why is Steve in such a crabby mood? And so Kamala Khan is a incredibly relatable character, whether you happen to be a Muslim American teenage girl or not. I think we can all see some of those attributes in ourselves, and I think that's what makes her really work. And she has a great legacy name. Ms. Marvel as a character has been around for a long time. And so it's easy to get. I know what she can do, and I understand the situation she's in.
you think for non-comic book fans, there's sometimes some confusion. Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, are they the same person?
Maybe. I think there might be some initial confusion, but I think that's one of the things I think that the films do really well, is take very obscure concepts and distill them down to something that's very understandable. Like, let's take Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. Like, it's part of our social vernacular now to talk about Groot and Rocket and Drax and Gamora and Peter Quill. But like 10 years ago, you pitch the idea of an assassin raccoon and a tree-like creature that only says 3 words, and you'd be like, what are you talking about?
You do know that Rocket Raccoon is my spirit animal.
I did not know that, but now I do.
It's a thing, yeah.
It's great.
It's a thing. So
Great.
you saw
Are
a
you
rocket
an assassin?
balloon.
Should I be nervous?
I cannot confirm nor deny anything that may be going on in the inside of my brain. It's a scary thing.
Fair enough.
Dark and twisty. Move on.
We all relate to different characters. Yours happens to be an assassin.
My hero's
raccoon.
Deadpool, so does that tell you anything?
It tells me a lot.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Fourth wall breaker.
He has to edit me quite often, actually.
Yeah, and it's interesting, speaking of Deadpool and everything that's been happening, it's going to be interesting to see over the next few months and years how some of the characters that are now back in the fold in the Disney universe get to play with some of the other characters in this ever growing and expanding world.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and I think looking at how theme park stories fit into all this, right? I mean, last night you were at the presentation, you heard CB talk about the body as a metaphor for the Marvel universe, right? And that comics is the beating heart, right? It's where it's our origin. It's where it comes from. It's where it circulates the blood through the body, to the face, which is the films, which most people are consuming a lot of the Marvel characters, and what role do our theme park stories play in that organism? And I think that's going to be fun to discover. And hopefully we're kind of capturing a little bit of everything. I mean, because I think a lot of people come to the parks from a lot of different walks of life. Some people are hardcore comic book fans, and some only know the films, and some play the games, and some know none of it. And they're like, man, I don't know, this just seems like a cool roller coaster, and they just want to go fast. And so everybody's coming in with a different level of knowledge about the characters, and it's our job to kind of teach them about who they are. And I mean, Iron Man experience was an interesting test case in that, because Iron Man, while being a popular character here, a lot of people weren't clear about who he was, and we had to explain to them who Tony Stark was, that it wasn't a robot, that there was a guy in a suit, and these were his challenges and problems, and this is what he wants for the future, and this is why going on this adventure with him is going to be great. So we have a unique job in creating some of these experiences. It's fun. I dig it.
And I think for some of us who grew up on comic books, and as things continue to unfold, we look forward to the day, or hope for the day where, Spider-Man and Daredevil, or Spider-Man and Deadpool, or Spider-Man and Doctor Doom show up somewhere together again.
That's the Marvel Universe, man. Like that. I mean, going back to some of those early team ups as far back as the Human Torch and Namor, in that first team up. But that's what makes it fun, is that these characters all live in our world. So I love Star Wars, don't get me wrong, but it's a galaxy far, far away. The Marvel Universe is here. It's now. Peter Parker can go to a Yankee game, or he can probably go to a Mets game.
Right, right outside your window.
I know, it's kind of a cliche, but yeah, it is the world outside your window. And that's a term Stan coined, and that's what the Marvel Universe is. So, these characters can interact at any time, and you and I can be a part of it. I think at the end of the first Avengers film, you see people getting tattoos of Captain America and making their painting goatees on their face. That shows that there are even fans of the Avengers and the superheroes within the universe. So that's an interesting perspective, right? When you rode the Iron Man experience, the first thing you did was fly over the castle, out over the bay, because you were absolutely in Disneyland. Tony Stark knew he was bringing the Stark Expo to Tomorrowland. That is a complete shift from how we tell stories in the parks. We're not transporting you to yesterday, tomorrow, or fantasy. It's happening now. It's happening right here, and that's where you are, and that's where the superheroes are. That's where Iron Man is. It's where Captain America is. Until we send you to Asgard. And then now we throw all that out.
Which you did. And by the way, he's a horrible wingman. Because going back to Lou. Going back just really quickly. Going back to, yes, you need to hear this story just really quickly. No, this is actually funny, because we were going through the walkthrough. And you tell me the name again?
Dimensions of Danger.
Yes, Dimensions of Danger. It will sear on my brain. So the part when you get to the place and you go to Asgard, and there's Thor, right? So it was an English time that we went through, so that it was running. So we knew what was happening.
Right.
However, we were with a whole bunch of people who didn't speak English, so we knew what was going on. And Thor is speaking English, and he's saying, "I need a volunteer to help me with this, task." And I'm thinking, I'm going to volunteer, but I'm a little scared. I'm thinking maybe Lou would go, "Hey, my friend loves Thor. She may want to go up there." But no, he's like, "Here, hold my phone and make sure to record this for me." And so
if you were scared to go, I took the bullets for you and went up. With great power must also come great responsibility.
I'm so glad you just said the quote right. Everybody messes it up. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. Yeah. All the words. Thank you, Lou.
So I did this video.
So sorry,
I'm not going to knock him down.
Oh,
he's a big kid. He wanted to do it.
I think the ladies may understand. I'm telling the wrong person. See, I thought you had a little. No, I'm wrong person. So Katie, let me tell you this cool story about when he.
I'm sorry that he deprived you of meeting Thor.
I know.
My wife feels for you.
Yeah.
I did get the opportunity to introduce her to Chris one time.
Did you?
Yeah. Against my better judgment.
Could she make sentences? Because I think that would be a fault.
We had him come into our booth at Comic-Con and to promote Thor Ragnarok. And so I called my wife. I said,
Are you
"If could-"
hiring? That would be awesome. I do
As a
a
matter
lot
of
of
fact,
trade shows.
I said,
We'll talk
do
later.
you want to come down to the booth in San Diego? I may or may not be able to get you in to meet Chris Hemsworth. And I turned around, and my wife and daughter were both standing right behind me. And so I both earned points and did myself an incredible disservice at the same time.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good.
she got to go home to Brothor. So
I just like the fact that you're able to say, "Hey, do you want to meet Chris?" And everybody, we all just know.
I say that not like I know him super well, by the way. I have met him.
I got distracted there for a minute. Okay.
He's a
handsome man.
He's a striking.
He's all right.
He's an imposing figure.
He's all right.
He's all what?
He's not bad.
If you could have dinner with one Avenger, who would it be?
Ooh.
Are you asking me or Becky?
No. He
I'm
knows
asking.
my answer.
Like an actor or like a character?
The actor.
The actor? Chris Evans. He's a blast. And
Nice guy?
he's
Yeah,
the nicest dude in the world. Yeah, super nice. He's funny. He's a little crazy. Fun to hang out with. And I would ask, he's not an Avenger, but Chris Pratt is equally
He
great.
seems like a really down-to-earth guy with a
Yes.
great sense of humor.
He has a great way of making you feel like you are the most important person in the room.
Oh, that's amazing.
You go.
It's
I mean, you
talent.
get to meet him, and he shakes your hand. He looks you right in the eye. He listens to what you're saying. Responds intelligently. You don't feel like you're wasting his time.
He's from.
I love Chris Pratt.
He's from Washington. He's from Seattle. The Seattle
He's a good
area.
dude.
If
Good
you
dude.
could meet one Avenger, who would it be? Have dinner with one Avenger. Chris Evans.
Evans.
Tom Holland. Evans.
Evans. RDJ.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt. Who? Scarlett
Scarlett.
Johansson. I was waiting. I was like, somebody's gonna. Who? Chris Evans.
Evans.
I know.
All of
Never
the
mind.
above.
So basically,
Salma
everyone's gonna
Hayek.
be.
Dude, you could make that happen for me. Like, I'm just
I'll just call you. You want to meet Salma?
Oh, wait, though. There's
Wait for
also
that text. I'm
there's
sorry.
a new
I'm sorry.
there's a new man on the stage though.
We'll make it work.
Kit Harington. There's a new man on the stage,
That's right.
and he's not. So he's up there. He's Kit Harington.
All right, don't make it creepy. Don't make
What?
this. Don't make it
Oh,
creepy.
Mr. Selma Hayek, really?
This interview is taking a weird turn.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Hello, have you met us?
I have. I love you guys.
What's the best thing you've seen on the floor so far? Or what haven't you seen that you can't wait to go and see?
I think I've seen it all. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff. Let's see. What's my favorite? I mean, I'm definitely biased to the Parks and Resorts Pavilion, but I won't say that because that's not fair. I would say the WDW radio booth is phenomenal.
Yay.
Only here can you see an inflatable Spider-Man and get an MEI mouse fan travel pen, which I did.
Oh my gosh, you got a pin.
I'm
You've
not
been
a-
pinned.
Thank you. So definitely
bag,
the WD
too.
Radio / MEI mouse fan travel booth.
It's got a rocket too. FYI.
You know, there's a lot of cool stuff. It's a great event. You know, there's a lot of great stuff on the floor to see. I love the Disney Plus stuff. The Dream Store was cool. There's a lot of cool stuff.
You know my favorite thing
It's hard to
is
pick. Hard to pick.
the squishy carpet.
You guys have nice carpet. You do.
Hashtag squishy carpet.
Inflatable Lou.
Yeah. And he's got
You know, when you
snacks
say
on it, too.
inflatable Lou, it sounds weird. And to say balloon Lou might be better.
Balloon Lou? Or just Baloo? It's just Baloo.
I like
Baloo.
Which one do you
Baloo.
want to take home?
Balloon. Baloo. We've been actually calling it that.
That's great.
Which one do you
That's
want
a
to
thing.
take home?
Great.
It's now a thing.
Well, then I didn't come up with anything?
Not yet.
All right, well,
oh no,
back to the
inflatable
back to
Lou.
the
You
drawing
did
board.
come up with inflatable Lou though. So
Inflatable Lou?
Yeah, that's
All right,
awesome.
fair
Thanks
enough.
for that. Awesome. Brian
Yeah.
Crossing, man.
Thank
You're
you guys
my
for
favorite
having
person
me.
in the whole wide world.
Back
Brian
at you,
Crosby.
brother. Becky, thank you.
Chilling. I just saw the artist storytelling. Very good. Was it good? Yeah, he had Floyd Norman, Floyd Mayweather, Tony Baxter, Don Juan, and Riggs, the guy who's doing that end again. Very, very good. What's happening? Yeah, I think just did that. I didn't. They cut it really short. So when you walk through, be quick because they're telling you to go, go, go. But it's gonna be over. So when you walk through, it's 2 seconds. So if you're gonna do something funny, like come out and do it. Because the guy's like, it's a long time. So we walked out and we did it, and on the video it was like. He froze for a second, and that was it. I walked out yesterday. Yeah, there was one guy that walked out like this, and he comes out and he goes like this. Just back.
Why am I coming with you?
I kind of like poked. I walked out behind him, and I looked at him, and I get behind him, and I was like freaking out. None of it came on the video. Can you imagine? 11:55. That piece. Yeah, I know. That was part of the deal. You get home and you go to school. can sleep on the plane.
Yeah, you're plane sleeper.
He's like,
I
are we
only
getting
go
up?
for like an hour at a time.
Well, luckily I have my mom, so I get upgraded a lot. So on the way out here, we got upgraded. He's like, I upgraded, Mom. Wow. So it was only Charlene. It wound up being okay because. What? What are you guys up to?
That is the news from the 2019 Disney D23 Expo. Time really does go by when you are having to go by.
No, they're still there.
That's going to do it for the 2019 Disney D23 Expo. Time really does fly by when you are having fun. There's so much to see, to take in from the parks experience, how much to the Walt Disney Studios, to the Emporium, to the floor, to Disney Plus. All having an amazing 3 days. I cannot wait to next week.
They're really good. Hey, Lou. Lou. Wah, wah, wah. There's a little snack buffet.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're invited to join us in just 15 minutes for the D23 Expo Street Party, presented by Alamo, which is going to travel right down Mickey Avenue to the heart of D23 Expo. This special street party celebrates the wonderful world of Disney with a live band and energetic dancers who join together with some of your favorite Disney pals and celebrity guest marshals for the ultimate D23 Expo experience. The fun begins in just 15 minutes. See you then.
I've been like looking for you, like ever since you tweeted, I was like, I need to find that. I'm surprised you haven't given them all out by now. Like they're going around. Oh, the other part of it is they're going around, finding all this stuff, and then they're visualizing all of the products. So that was really cool. Oh, I wanted to go to that. That was good. Oh, it's cool. Derek was telling me, over there at the Parks Pavilion, at that Epcot Mode, he said he just recently got in an antique store in Montana for $5. In there late, so that guy who was doing all those experiments was like, where's the fancy stuff? And then it did, it's great. So I kind of missed it. Yeah, I missed the introduction part of it. So I just got in there and it was already.
Oh, you can get the travel thing, the vacation you got.
So these ladies dressed in black right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready because the D23 Expo Street Party, presented by Alamo, will be making its way down Mickey Avenue in just a few minutes with live music, dancers, and of course, some of your favorite Disney ballads. Don't miss this special celebration, including a salute to the 40th anniversary of Mickey Mouse Disco. The fun begins in just a few minutes. See you soon.
Speaking of see you soon, thank you all so much for watching all day. We're going to take a little break for a few minutes. We'll be back. We're going to take a little walk on the show floor. We're going to wrap up the D23 Expo as quickly as we can. Obviously, there's going to be a full recap show once we get back. So go take a break, get something to eat, and then we'll see you again in a little bit. Bye.